Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven, and this is the Storytime channel. Today we have some entitled parent stories, and our first story of the day is by Rambo Robertson's 20. Can we get a tour of your truck? No. Okay, we'll just break in. This happened on Monday. I drive a concrete mixer for those who have not read previous posts. I get a fair amount of private work and deal with a fair amount of entitled customers. This was not at a job site, but in a Walmart parking lot during my allotted lunch break. It was just past my 10 hours and I called in for a 30-minute break. I parked in the far reaches of the Walmart parking lot and well out of the way of any other vehicles. As I was getting out and locking up my truck with the spare key, concrete mixers can't be shut off while any amount of concrete is left inside. A woman, entitled mother, with short blonde hair approached me with a young girl, maybe 4 or 5. Entitled mother asked me nicely if I could give her daughter a tour of my truck. She loved the noises it made, as all kids love loud noises. I kindly gave her and nice kid a 5-minute tour around the truck, explaining what happens when I'd unload and what the truck can do. A few bells and whistles to her. One of my favorite parts of this job is when kids wave and I can wave back. It's just one of those moments where you know you made a child happy. It's a great feeling. Her daughter said thank you, and I was about to head into Walmart to grab a snack when entitled mother out of nowhere screeched, "Hey, aren't you going to show her the inside? She needs to see the inside buttons and switches and what they do." No ma'am, she can't get inside the cab of the truck. It's a safety hazard and we're in a pandemic. It's against our company policy to have anyone but a certified employee inside the truck or above 3 feet on any area of the truck. Now, 99% of parents fully understand when given the reasoning. The concrete mixer that kids can climb into at truck shows are privately owned and generally for show and tell, and not in a work environment. My truck has many bells and whistles that I've added myself to try and make it safer, including extra strobe lights and side and back cameras. I'm also paying the truck off through a company program, so it's my responsibility. "You haven't completed the full tour. How is she going to know how it works?" "Because I just explained this." "I'm sorry, ma'am, this isn't a display truck. Please excuse me, I'm on my lunch break and need to eat before it ends." Walks away. I did a quick in and out and headed back toward my truck. From afar, I could see that there is now an older Suburban or Yukon sitting alongside the truck. I get around to the front to find a man in highlight construction clothing trying to jimmy my door lock. "What the duck? Get away from my truck!" Corner of my eye has the Yukon with a stick sign that says lock services. The guy says, "Oh, are you the owner? I was told you locked your keys in the truck and was in Walmart looking for someone to help." "No, I have a spare in my hand. Who told you that?" Just realizing who told him. Was it a tall lady with short blonde hair? "Yes, it was. She told me about the situation. I could see the keys from the window, so I didn't ask further. I'm very sorry." After explaining, I asked if she was still here, and he pointed to a white VW Beetle with eyelashes on it. Of course, it had ducking eyelashes. As I walked over to her, she pulled out and took off. I only got 3 numbers on the plate, so it's unlikely I'll be able to make a report. Later on, I checked the memory chip from the cameras, and entitled mother tried to open the doors, climb on the steps, and even push the window down with her palms. Why can't people take no as a final answer and leave it at that? Considering OP's cameras did catch something and they do have a partial license plate number, do you think OP should go ahead and file a report? Or do you think it was just an isolated incident and you'd be a person that would just kind of let it go? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by Paysep03, entitled Mom Says She Will Sue Me for Stealing Her Baby's Art. Oh my god, I cannot believe this just happened. I can't post pictures, but I'm going to post the conversation. This thread doesn't allow pictures below. I hate my life, oh my god. This is a text exchange that I copied and pasted right from my text. I'm 17 and entitled cousin is 19, both female. I post a picture of my drawing on Instagram. Then it automatically gets reported for fraud. The following exchange then happens. Entitled cousin says, "Are you freaking serious?" I say, "What? You know that I also draw. So do thousands of other people, entitled cousin." "You can only paint. I am the only person in the family that can draw animated or digital." I say, what? Okay, listen, this is getting stupid. You got what you wanted and I deleted my TikTok. You're not just going to attack me because of the fact that I also draw. I'm going to tell my mom because she doesn't think you should be an artist either. My mom says that I am the only artist in the family. Entitled cousin again. I'm going to tell my mom. I say, you are 19? Entitled aunt then texted me. OP, this is entitled aunt. I think this is really getting out of hand. Entitled cousin is really upset. I won't tell your parents as long as you agree to not sell that drawing. You are going to ruin entitled cousin's chances of becoming an artist. Please just take into consideration, she is older than you. Therefore, she chose to be an artist before you did. You will always have to be in second place. I'm sorry. That's just how social conduct works. I say, alright entitled aunt. What's sad is I know that entitled cousin actually had to have her mom text me because she doesn't know what half of those words mean. Well, this has been a nice conversation. I shall be telling my parents about this interaction. Then it went quiet for a bit. Then I got this last text that I was not expecting. OP, you cannot sell your art of animated characters because that's what entitled cousin does. How dare you draw Stitch? You cannot make drawings of entitled cousin's favorite Disney character and sell it, because if you sell it, you will have to give the money to entitled cousin. You do not have the right to take away business from my child because she deserves it more than you. I say, entitled aunt, I made a poster. I can sell it if I want to, and no, I do not have to give the money to your daughter. I shall be selling the drawing for $20-ish and you won't see a cent. Please leave me alone, and I will be telling my parents about this. I will sue you because that money belongs to my child, not you because you stole her art. I stopped responding. What the heck? The entitlement is real. God help me. Just a FYI, I don't actually plan on selling this art. If you DM me, I will offer you something else because of Disney's rights. Imagine being so entitled that you try to gatekeep an entire profession from the family line. To me, in my opinion, that's just not family. This next story is by Aiden Boyo. Entitled mom yells at me for telling her kid to stop throwing broken glass at my friend. So this happened a while ago. It's just I recently found this sub and I thought you might enjoy. So flashback a few years, I was around 10 years old and we were living in Italy. My dad is in the military, so we move around a lot. My dad was stationed there at the time. I live in a family of 8 and I am homeschooled as well as my siblings. Part of being homeschooled was every day at around 10:30, we would go to the park and play for 30 minutes and then we would go back home. With the whole story set up, on with it. Me and my siblings head to the park. It's a gorgeous day, and friend joins us. We all head to the park and things seem to be going fine. Enter entitled mother and entitled kid. The entitled mother approaches the park with her kid in tow. We are used to this as the communities are really packed together. She sits on the park bench and pulls out her phone as her kid starts playing. The next few minutes were a doozy. Entitled kid finds a bottle on the ground. It's an old wine bottle. Looking back, I have no idea what a wine bottle was doing at a playground, but that's not important. He starts playing with it, pretending it's a sword, rolling it along the ground, etc. He then smashes it against the ground, shattering it into a million pieces. Entitled mother doesn't care. We stare, shocked at what happened. Me and my friend look at each other, baffled. The conversation goes as follows. I say, why did you do that? The entitled kid says, look at how cool it looks. I say, let's just leave it alone. Entitled kid proceeds to pick up piles of glass shards and throws them in the air. To this day, I have no idea how he didn't get any cuts in his hands from the sharp glass. We continue to try to convince him that broken glass is a dangerous thing, to which he replies, go play somewhere else. If that wasn't enough, he starts throwing them across the whole playground, laughing as he did it. I backed away, worried about the glass. My friend tries to intervene, but is met with a glass shard to the face. Now, I'm not really good at making friends, but when I do, I can get really protective. I immediately call him out. Look what you did! The entitled kid says, I didn't know that was going to happen. My friend was on the ground crying. This was enough to get entitled mother's attention. Entitled Mother asks, "What happened?" Entitled Kid says, "Friend got cut and then OP started yelling at me." Entitled Mother turns to me red in the face. "You don't get to yell at my son." My older brother tries to intervene. "Ma'am, your son was throwing broken glass shards at people. It was a hazard and friend paid for it." "My son was just playing. Friend just tripped and fell. I saw it." Me and older brother look at each other. "No, he didn't. Everyone saw it." "Stop lying. You were a bad influence on my son. You all need to learn to respect your elders." She then ranted at us like a 5-year-old about how we were disrespectful and rude. Meanwhile, everyone at the park told her how wrong she was. One of the good things about having a big family is the fact that you have a lot of witnesses. She eventually left, and later the kid apologized. He ended up learning a lot from the whole experience and how his actions can hurt others. My friend was also okay, although he still has a visible mark to this day. I guess the moral is, don't throw shards of glass at others, if that wasn't already obvious. I think that although this happened and overall it was a pretty crappy thing to have happen, at least at the very end, the kid did apologize and showed some kind of awareness of how crappy they were acting. Hopefully, Entitled Mother's willingness to not hold her child accountable won't influence the kid to get worse in mannerisms growing up. This next story is by Mohachi Desert Baby Bat. Entitled Mother tells sick daughter she needs to just get over being sick. Hey y'all, I'm going to preface this by saying I've never had the best immune system. I had scurvy as a baby and sepsis as a toddler, so it wasn't uncommon for me to have colds that lasted over a month. Everyone in my family knew this, but stories like this one I'm about to tell you still happened routinely. This story happened when I was a teenager. I had caught the flu, and if you ever had the flu before, you know it's way worse than a cold. The body gets so weak you can hardly move, and a fever that, if left unchecked, could have catastrophic results. Knowing this, I grabbed a big bottle of NyQuil, a big cup of water with a straw, and parked myself on the living room recliner so my condition could be monitored. Or, at the very least, couldn't be ignored. All that effort took everything I had out of me. For 2 straight weeks, I would take a dose of NyQuil, wash it down with enough fluids to get the taste out of my mouth, and fall asleep for about 6 hours, rinse and repeat. I was a sweaty mess. My fever would not go down and I could barely move. I don't remember eating anything for that whole time either, so I was probably malnourished too. Despite all this, my mom and her husband were getting more and more irritated with me for laying around all day. So my mom confronted me in one of my few moments of consciousness. "Alright, sweetie," she said. "I know you don't feel well right now, but you gotta just get better. You're not doing yourself any favors." "I'm trying," I replied, trying not to pass out. My mom was a nurse but rarely took me or my siblings to the hospital. She also tended to overlook illness. Like, you could have a fever and still be expected to make a big pot of chicken soup from scratch for the whole household. "Go take a bath and make yourself some tea," she told me. "I'll go get you some Gatorade and hopefully you'll feel better by tomorrow. And I don't want to see you on that recliner when I get back. If you're going to sleep all day, do it in your room." I took another 2 weeks to get well enough to stand up without feeling dizzy. I never did go to a hospital or take anything stronger than over-the-counter meds. My mom also kept trying me to get to do things around the house like dishes and laundry. Sorry, this story was a bit on the mild side. I just needed to vent, I guess. I'm really not sure if there's anything more disheartening than finding yourself having some kind of affliction and the people you think are closest to you seem to just downplay the entire thing. The story also made me curious about how many people think they have a good immune system versus thinking they don't have a great immune system. Personally, I hardly ever get sick. Then again, I usually don't go anywhere, so that probably plays into it. I'd be curious about you guys if you wanted to share. And our final story of the day is by Commotionable. Entitled Parent and Entitled Kid tried to steal my $40 Kirby plush. So this happened back in December. I was listening to a story about another user who had their purple Yoda plushie stolen, and it immediately reminded me of the Kirby situation I had at the mall. So I want to start this by saying I am a huge Kirby fan. The first game I ever played and fell in love with was Kirby Dream Land 3 on the SNES. Currently, I have a mini Christmas Kirby plush. small Cook Kirby plush, a Kirby figurine set where you can stack them, a Kirby poster, a Kirby skin for my Switch and dock, and the Kirby Smash Amiibo pack from Smash 4. One thing I noticed about Kirby is he isn't the most popular Nintendo character when it comes to merch. I mostly see Mario, Pokemon, and Zelda merch. Love all three, but finding anything Kirby is like finding a unicorn made of gold and diamonds. So while shopping in the mall with my sister for our nieces and nephews, we stumbled into a collectible shop that was loaded wall to wall with pop figures and other collectibles. I was fixated on the posters they offered until my sister pointed to a big Cook Kirby plush that they had a few of on a high shelf. Immediately, I beelined to the register while checking my credit card balance on my bank app, begging to know the price of Cook Kirby. The cashier chuckled and told me it was $40. I am now bouncing as if I'm 5 because all I can think about is snuggling my new Kirby plush. My sister handles my lightweight, finding some Dragon Ball toys for our nephews. We check out and the cashier hands me a fresh Cook Kirby in a plastic bag. He bags up my items, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I hugged that bag. Our next stop was a toy store to find Hello Kitty, mermaids, and unicorns for our nieces. While I reached up to get a little Hello Kitty backpack so I can look at it closer, I hear, "Mommy, look, it's a Jigglypuff." I wasn't paying attention as I looked over the bag for price tags and opened it to see how deep it is. I was so fixated on the bag, I didn't realize someone was trying to get my attention until I got tapped on the shoulder. I flinched but sighed, "Oh, yes?" I was face to face with a sporty-looking mom and her 6-year-old spawn. "Where did you get the Jigglypuff?" Me looking confused at the Hello Kitty bag in my hand. She rolled her eyes. "No, the toy in your bag." She pointed to my bag where Kirby and his chef hat was peeking out. I now cringe realizing they confused Kirby for Jigglypuff. Me chuckling, "This is a Kirby, not a Jigglypuff, and I got it from X store on the other side of the mall." The entitled kid says, "Mom, let's go, I want one." Entitled mother says thank you. I smiled knowing I helped. I thought that was the end of it until my sister and I were in the food court eating some delicious Philly cheesesteaks. Halfway through devouring my food, I hear a loud, "Oh great, we found you." Because I am nosy, I turn to see the entitled mother and entitled kid running up to our table. My sister looks confused. "You know her?" I shook my head as I sipped my soda, clearing my mouth. "So we went to the store and they ran out of that Jigglypuff plushie." My sis is a huge Jigglypuff fan. "Wait, there was a Jigglypuff plushie?" I say, "No sis, they confused Kirby for Jigglypuff." My sis pouted and the entitled mother continued, "I was wondering, can we have yours?" I say no. The entitled kid says, "But I want it." "Oh come on, you look too old to be playing with plushies anyway." "Doesn't matter, I paid for it, it's mine." "Oh come on," she screeches as she reaches for my bag. I hold my bag close. Entitled kid starts stomping his feet and at this point, I'm over it. I don't have the energy to deal with you or your kid. The answer is no and will remain as no until the end of time. Thank you and have a great day. My sis is quietly chuckling into her sandwich. Entitled mother looked as if I just slapped her. I smirk and an idea rattles in my brain. Her kid tries to reach for my bag, stomping and kicking his feet. Once I feel the tug, I turn and yell to them in my best Gene Wilder impression, "Good day, sir!" At this point, we have turned some heads to our table, and entitled mother blushes as she snatches entitled kid and runs off. I love my giant Cook Kirby, and I hug him all the time. I don't care how selfish it may possibly make me look, but if I see something that I genuinely really like and want myself, I would never give in and give it to a kid just because they want it too. I'm sorry, kid, but if it's something that I genuinely truly wanted, I'm gonna try and hold on to it for myself. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, and if you haven't, subscribe and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you do, whether it's just viewing the video, liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, I appreciate the heck out of it. Every little thing that you do helps the channel grow that much more, and I can't thank you enough for it. So until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be right here next time on the Storytime channel.